Stepping away from screens and taking a social media detox can do a lot of good for both your mental and your physical health. An increasing number of people are trying to become a little bit less dependent on their phones. I'm definitely guilty of always having my phone in my hands. Here to tell us more about some of the benefits is T. Dooley Panko, the creator of the social media detox. Good morning to you.
Oh my gosh, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Can you explain to our viewers what I have on my head here?
Yes, absolutely. They were probably wondering.
Like, what's going on, right?
So basically, this is the Muse device, and it can detect your brain waves.
Ooh.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah, so we're going to do a little experiment this morning, if you're okay with that.
Let's do it.
We're already hooked up with the brain waves. So as you can see here on the app, let's just pull it up right here. And it'll show your brain waves. So basically, it shows all the brain waves. We've got delta, theta, your alpha waves, and your beta waves. So what we're going to do is a little experiment. If you want to take your phone, pull up in social media, and we're going to pay attention mostly to those beta waves.
And see what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you're on social media, you're scrolling. I pull up social media, the first thing I see is a Nate live shot. Yeah. That tracks. Okay, so as you scroll through social media, I want to make a note here.
Okay.
Typically what happens is we see those beta waves increase when you start engaging with social media. Beta waves are usually associated with things like being alert or being super focused, which is great throughout the day, but not too much exposure. If you have too much exposure, prolonged beta waves, it can actually lead to stress, anxiety, and feeling overwhelmed and overstimulated.
At what point is it too much exposure? How do you know?
Well, I think if you feel that compulsion to grab your phone and look for a little hit of dopamine, I think that's a big indicator of, needing that phone and feeling dependent on it, and just feeling like you need it by you all the time.
Right, yeah, because you look at some people set those alerts on your phone, like you've been on, like I think I have Instagram for 45 minutes, and it's like you've got 5 minutes left.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is a good, I guess, range of how somebody should know how long they should be spending on social media, and not just social media, but on their phone in general?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when it becomes a habit and when it's taking too much time out of your personal life, if you feel like maybe your friends or your family haven't seen you in a while, or maybe you haven't done those hobbies because you feel like you don't have enough time, it's like, well, take a look at that screen time and maybe try to reevaluate where you're spending your time.
Now, if somebody is wanting to do a detox of social media, what is the time frame for that, and what are some of the benefits?
So the book I wrote and the program I created is actually 14 days. So it's a 14-day guided social media detox. So there's different tips and tricks. A lot of the things we talk about relate to phone proximity. Phone proximity is huge. There's actually research and studies that suggest having your phone open and by you actually subconsciously tricks your brain into thinking about it. So you're thinking about those notifications. So if you can, throughout the day, put your phone in a bag or in a drawer, it does so much for your mental health. It really helps you focus and get things done. So, yeah.
Now, what if you're somebody like me? I work in the news business. We almost always have to be informed of what's going on. How do we find that balance of not doing too much? Because we probably can't be off our phones for 14 straight days.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. So many people these days are using online and social media. I mean, you even think about people in sales or in real estate, on LinkedIn. There is that pressure to be online, especially for, a lot of people's jobs. So I always advise, try to compartmentalize your use. So maybe you work from 9 to 5. That's not you.
Right.
But maybe you work from 9 to 5, and you try to make that time available to generally be online, available to your customers. But when you go home, try to disconnect from those work accounts. Try to just spend time with your family, spend time doing the things you love, recalibrating, and then the next day get back to those social media feeds. So just compartmentalize that use it for the things that are good for it, and then,
Now, we kind of did this experiment for myself. Maybe there's some parents out there who want to do this experiment for their teenager who's spending all their time on their phone. What should they do?
Yeah, I mean, teens, it is so difficult to mitigate that use, but I think it really comes from the example of the parents. I mean, if the parents really have to take accountability, step back from that social media use, that digital device use, and then spend more time with your kids. Try to take, some families are doing this, I don't know if you could pull it off, but going on trips with no digital devices. So then it takes away the pressure. No one has the pressure of looking at their phone, so when you're out on a vacation, you can all just enjoy the time together, because it's so hard to find that time these days.
Parents got to lead by example.
It's not easy.
All right, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thank you, Brian.